Welcome to our ASMR video. Today we're gonna be eating sunflower seeds.
Heck yeah.
If you could hear this, you would laugh. Hello, guys. Welcome to the weekly dive, where we dive in on the truths, the conspiracies, and the mysteries of the week for us and our listeners. So, without further ado, I got my good friend here, Hayden, with me.
What's up, everybody?
Okay, guys. Now I'm gonna do a little introduction of myself, and Hayden's gonna do one for himself, and we're gonna get on with our first case, mystery, conspiracy, of the day or of the week. I am Clay Cunningham, 19 years old, from Georgia. I just graduated 2 years ago, and I play music, and we're in my studio currently. So yeah, that's something about me. Hayden.
All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Hayden Jones. I'm 19 as well. We graduated in the same class, went to the same high school, and everything like that. Currently, I'm doing content creation on YouTube. I do Georgia sports highlights and things like that, discussions about sports and everything like that. So yeah.
Me and Hayden, we met in possibly the third grade elementary school. He's not very sure if it's the third grade, but I'm pretty sure it's the third grade.
Sometime in elementary school.
Sometime in
Just say
elementary
that.
school, but I mean, whatever. We're pretty close. We have a couple hobbies together. We play video games and stuff. And we like creating content for you guys. So that's what we were planning on doing for you guys today, and pretty much every Saturday of the week we're gonna come out with some.
We'll be recording Saturday.
Recording Saturday.
We plan at the beginning to at least try to do a schedule. We're gonna do our best to try to schedule and try to record Saturday and have a video maybe every Monday. So yeah, if you would like to listen to it wherever we're going to work, at home, wherever you want to listen, it'll probably be on Mondays.
We just want to bring some good educational, fun, entertaining content for the viewers. So yeah, that's the plan. And we're going to try to be vocal with you guys on social media platforms, because depending on how well liked we are, if you guys like listen to us and we get a lot of thumbs up, then we'll create some social media and we'll be vocal with you guys on when
Why are you kicking me in the leg?
when we have a video releasing audio, obviously.
So yeah, as of right now, we're probably gonna plan on uploading on YouTube, SoundCloud,
Spotify,
maybe Apple Music if we can
Possibly
figure
Apple
everything out.
Yep.
So yeah, we're just getting started. We're gonna use these four simple
Platforms.
platforms at the beginning. See how it goes. So yeah, if you do enjoy this, please leave a like, as it'll let us know that you guys like these kinds of podcasts and everything that we're doing. So yeah, make sure to leave a like if you enjoy the content.
We would very appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yes. So just a little breakdown about what the podcast is going to be about. So the main thing is probably going to be conspiracies, a little bit about something like, okay, the main thing about the podcast is going to base around the conspiracies. But we're pretty open-minded and have a lot of conversations about different things. So sometimes it might not be about conspiracies. It might just dive into just really anything on the top of our heads at the time. So yeah, if you enjoy something like that, this is the podcast for you.
And later on, if we get a lot of viewers and stuff, you guys can go ahead and throw some suggestions. We'll go through them and see how we feel about them. And we want to be vocal with our fans. So you guys let us know, and we'll take looks at it, and we'll get back to you guys on that. Okay, guys. So we're gonna start today's episode for the weekly dive on the lead mask case. Topic 1. It's a very this isn't so much as a conspiracy as is a mystery. Most people that know about their mysteries, this is a very, very big, huge, important case, because it's mysteries just surrounding the entire thing. Maybe it's easy for people to understand and have like a theory of your own and just like put into it and just like know what it is. It's simple to you, but to other people, it might be difficult because there's a lot of weird things that don't add up. So, yeah, the lead mask case. Look into it because it's pretty interesting. But we're gonna give you guys some facts, some things surrounding it. See what you guys think about it. And at the end, we're gonna give you some of our theories about what happened. So there's 2 victims. Very strange deaths. Yes, there's 2 deaths. So this is rated M for mature. Both names. One Miguel Jose Viana, and then Manuel Piera de Cruz. Both of them were electronics repairmen, and as we know, and as officials know, and reporters and stuff, they were both healthy middle-aged men. A little background on both Manuel and Miguel. They were close friends, often seen working together. And some reports said that their families were close. So, I mean, they had a tight knot. They were kind of like me and Hayden. They were real good friends. So if we go missing, we might be involved in the lead mask case.
You might find us on a hill.
Yeah, you might find us on a hill. But we're going to get to that in a minute. So you guys just hold out for us.
All right, for you guys, that wasn't a pause, but we had might have heard some creepy noises. You never know.
Yeah, we're in my studio out.
Kind of in the next to the woods. A little bit creepy.
A little creepy, yeah.
We got the boys trying to attack us or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know because I just brought up us
weird.
dying
All right.
if we go missing. So that was a little creepy.
Let's just
move on.
and hope we don't hear that again.
Yeah. Also, just a side note. I couldn't find anything. I looked through plenty of websites, documents, nothing on their age. So I don't know. Maybe it's easier for someone else to find, but I could not find their age. Worst case, I go to Wiki just to see, but Wiki didn't even have their age. So middle-aged. That's the best I got for you guys.
Yeah, that was pretty odd. I couldn't find their age at all either, doing any kind of research or background on them at all.
So maybe it's a fake story. Who knows? Maybe it never happened.
That's the cool part, though.
Yeah, just a possible theory for you guys.
So these 2 guys, they were based around Brazil. They what was their hometown?
Ooh, another side note. We don't know where they worked. I don't know if there's Radio Shacks in Brazil in 1966.
Yeah.
Obviously not. No, it's a joke, but they just worked in some repair shop working on, I guess, electronics back then, which there probably wasn't a lot, but
whatever they were doing, it seemed they might have had a pretty good amount of money and a pretty sufficient living.
Yeah.
Being able to do what they were doing. We'll touch on everything like that later.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a basis. They seem to be living pretty well with their job, being electronic technicians.
For sure.
So Brazil, 1966. That's where this whole entire lead mask case all started. So Brazil, 1966. The 2 bodies of Manuel and Miguel were found on a hillside in Ventum Hill, which is pretty close to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
By 18.
That's what I was getting to.
Oh, I thought you didn't know his name.
So these 2 bodies were found. It's kind of interesting how they seemed to be a younger age boy that was flying his kite that actually found the bodies on the side of the hill at Ventum Hill.
George da Costa Alves.
Okay. So yeah, George ended up finding them on the side of the hill. Just 2 bodies. They were found laying next to each other with not much sign of any trauma or struggle or anything to their body. So that's one of the interesting things about this case.
Mm-hmm.
But at first for police it didn't seem very interesting at all of a case. Didn't seem like really much of anything until they really dive deep and get into the examinations of their bodies. So the bodies were discovered on August 20th of 1966, and there was a report that they were last seen and last stated and talked to their families August 17th, which is 3 days prior. But yeah, dating back to the case not being very interesting, but with each item that was found that connected to these guys at the crime scene and a couple other things that were involved with their life, it seemed to make the case a little bit more strange and I guess eerie in a sense. They really don't know what happened.
Which is weird because they did tell their families they were going to get supplies for work and for a vehicle, a car of some sorts. I don't know. There's no definition or definite answer on what type of car, but I don't think that really matters.
So, the way they were found, they were actually partly covered by grass, and like I said, laying next to each other, with no signs of any foul play at the time. So, being electronic technicians, you wouldn't necessarily think they would be in a suit, but these guys are actually found in a formal suit, which is
Matching
yeah.
formal suits.
matching suits, which is
Creepy.
pretty odd. They were also found with a lead eye mask on, which, if you don't know, that's at the time and everything like that was used for radiation poisoning and when you're in a high radiation environment.
So, like the incident in Ukraine, their suits were lead lined so they wouldn't get radiation poisoning. Just a little side note.
Another thing that they were found with was waterproof coats on. Both of them had the same waterproof coats. So another thing that makes this case strange and a discovery next to the bodies was this one doesn't seem to add up to anything, but when we backtrack a little bit, you'll notice this, but there was an empty water bottle, and I don't know if you read up on this, but there was actually 2 wet towels next to them.
No, I didn't see the wet towels, but I did see the empty water bottle.
The thing that I don't really know if that's necessarily true or not because
It was raining, so wet towels.
It's raining, but was it raining the next 3 days though when the bodies were found?
Yeah.
I don't really know that for sure.
Well, I saw some report that said the forecast in that area was raining on and off.
Which is Brazil, and it has a
Rainforesty
tendency to
kinda,
be pretty, like, there's a lot of rain there.
Mm-hmm. So these 2 guys, Miguel and Manuel, they had investigators found an eerily cryptic note reading 1630 HS. Be at determined place 1830. Swallow capsule after effect. Protect metals. Wait for mask signal. That is translated from Spanish to English.
So it's not necessarily, because translating things, it's not going to be the exact saying that they were trying to do in their language when you convert it to English or whatever other language, but it can get a little bit different. But that's like the basis of the simplified version of what it was.
Yeah.
If you don't know, just a little side note: 1630 is 4:30 p.m. and 1830 would be 6:30 p.m. Okay, so another thing in their notebook that they had that had the cryptic notes in it, they found the notebook and it also had a list of electronic part numbers, which probably isn't anything too crazy because they were electronic technicians, so it would most likely link to their job. That's probably what that was mostly about. But the other cryptic note did mention something about taking the capsules, but there was no capsules on the scene, so they maybe could have taken those capsules that were stated in the notes
and then headed up the hill.
Yeah, or taken them on the hill.
Yeah, and just discarded them anywhere because, as we know, there was no coroner or toxicology report on them, so we don't know how well these investigators really investigated. Doesn't sound like too good.
And something about that, about how this case probably didn't seem too important, was about the toxicology tests that were done. Apparently they could have done one, but the coroner was too busy. That's what I read.
Yeah, quotes.
Quote, too busy. So this case didn't seem all too important, so it doesn't seem like they dove too much into what actually happened.
Which makes it even a bigger mystery. Was there some sort of Brazilian government thing going on this hill at this time? Who knows? It's very suspicious, very,
and
odd.
The note was really the only thing that police had that really pertained to the motive or the cause of their death was about the capsules. That's about probably the closest the police could get to an actual reason of why they were found dead at the scene, just with no trauma or anything. That's the most likely reasoning, as
Yeah.
That's like the closest thing they have to actually what happened.
The reasoning of death. And also, they were up on that hill technically for 3 days. So, and it was raining on and off, as forecast back then did say in Brazil. So, investigators did say that their outward appearance couldn't reveal the cause of death. It didn't look like they were strangled or beaten, but their bodies were severely decomposing because of the heat, the humidity, and obviously the rain.
Rain and being on a hill, it's most likely just not something with dirt and mud and just
Yep.
nasty. It's gonna help decompose the body pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly, for sure.
So a little bit about because the case is called the lead mask case. So I do want to touch a little bit about the mask. The weird part about their mask. The weird part about the mask is they were only made and cut to cover the eyes, which is odd because a high radiation environment shields usually would cover the majority of your whole entire face.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be just something you lay on your eyes, not like glasses.
Or a helmet.
Yeah. So it's kind of odd because they were cut specifically just to look like sunglasses almost.
I couldn't find anything, but could you see through the mask? Or was it just to shield your view?
I feel like it was just to not see anything.
Not see anything.
And, like,
Because it wasn't like any solar eclipse glasses or anything, where they were looking for
It's
something
just like
that
solid lead.
solid lead. Yeah. I mean, they look solid lead. I mean, it's a black and white picture, but
But they look, you still be able to see if they were like see through.
yeah,
There was like a solid color throughout the picture.
it was just solid black.
Yeah. They had according to this, they were believed to have had 3 million cruzeiros, which is the currency I'm assuming of Brazil at the time in the 60s. And you can't really tell with inflation rates and the difference and like of how much money that would be in today's time, but it's safe. You can assume that it was enough to buy a small car. Why would you have that amount of money just with you at going up a hill?
Yeah, going up the hill.
Just seems like to be on a discovery or just a little trip away from your town that was 3 hours away. Why would you have that much money? I don't know. It's just all odd.
Like I said before, they were close with each other's families, and they were close with each other. So I mean, we don't really know the backdoor dealings with each other and like what they were talking about. But
This was definitely planned. Whatever they were doing and why they were on this hill was definitely thought of, because it was everything they had was almost identical.
they
And
would have had to agree.
Yeah.
together because neither. I mean, it's not like one of them was binded up and taken up there forcefully from the other one. Like they went together. Obviously, they were.
as it seems,
Yeah, they were dead next to each other. I mean, there was no
But-
handcuffs, no.
no signs of trauma, no beating.
So they told their families, yeah, they were going for the supplies. They hopped on a bus with that amount of money that they had, and they.
Found themselves in Rio de Janeiro,
Yep.
near Ventum Hill.
Yep. Benton Hill.
So they got on the bus, and then
3 hours away.
Yeah,
It was
3
a 3-hour drive.
yeah,
Very far for supplies. Very odd. I mean, 3 hours.
it was
You're telling me there wasn't.
they came to this hill specifically. This had to be something specific.
Yep.
It's not just some random. Oh, we're here. Let's go discover this. Like I said, it's all planned. It was pretty thought out. But so apparently at this bus stop, this is where it seemed to be, or at least the day on the 17th is where we mentioned the waterproof coats. This seems to be where they bought the coats. At some point in between the bus ride or after the bus ride, they bought these waterproof raincoats. And it was believed, like we said, to be a pretty rainy day.
So they were planning to be out in the rain at some point. So, back to the point, they, so yeah, like I said, they were planning to be in the rain. That's why they bought the rain jackets. To this day, no one knows why, why the heck were they on this hill? I mean, what were they doing? What did they need to take possibly psychedelic drugs for? There's just so many questions surrounding it. And even
And
Some,
saying drugs isn't just some random thought of this is there's some story behind which we'll touch on of why we're bringing up psychedelic drugs.
mhm.
Just want to put that out there. It's not just us assuming drugs.
So, moving on to, they stopped on their way to the hill. They stopped at a bar, and one guy, I think it was Miguel, he got a bottle of water, and the clerk waitress, she noticed that he was in a hurry, and he kept checking his watch. He was very anxious.
Well, they know this because the police questioned this lady
Yeah,
about
backtrack the guys.
yeah to figure a little bit more out about like what was happening prior to this
Because they did have a receipt for the
Yeah.
bottle of water.
and the coats.
Yeah, and the coats.
The coats had tags on them and everything like that.
So,
So there was a question, and that led them back to being able to see where they were prior to this hill.
that begs the question: did they use the water to drink the capsules?
The water bottle was empty,
Mm-hmm.
and the note had specific times apparently to take these capsules.
Drugs, whatever. We'll get to that point. But what were they taking, man? Who knows?
Well, just a little bit more on the lady. Like she said they seemed agitated and were they were really concerned about the time. Seemed to be checking his watch a lot, and at the time it's apparently getting dark and starting to rain, like we said, and they were just really concerned about time, and which kind of adds up because there were specific times on this note that was found. So maybe whatever they were planning to do had to be done at certain times, which is why would you have to plan
Very
picking
diabolical.
drugs?
Something was big being planned. Maybe, spiritually. Maybe, possibly.
But another little thing, I don't know if this one's true, but I did see something state that they apparently were seen to, at the bottom of, prior to going up the hill, they were apparently seen getting into a Jeep with two unknown men, and that's how they actually got to this hill and made it up to the hill, was by these two unknown men. I don't know if this is true.
Possibility.
This is a possibility of something else that could, but there's no foul play, so maybe they received I don't know, maybe they got this notebook from these people in this Jeep. Maybe these capsules came from these people. Maybe they were there to meet these people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, like I said, was all planned. I don't know. But I don't know if the Jeep scenario is true, but it could definitely be a possibility of it just leads to even more mystery to this case.
Even more questions. This isn't really, an open-minded, open-ended. I mean, it is open-ended. Really, it's just kind of give you guys a little bit of content, but you're left asking more questions than answers for this one because, there's nothing to give you. There's the information surrounding the case, but, we thought it'd be a quick and easy one to talk about in the very beginning. So we're going to move on with the theories now. I think Hayden's got a couple of good
even
theories.
more questions come into play.
Yes.
A lot of interesting stuff. This one seems kind of odd to me. I don't really know maybe this is just someone trying to spark up a story or something, but apparently several days after the bodies were found, a Rio newspaper reported that a resident said she saw a round UFO going up and down Ventum Hill on the night they went up to the hill. So, and she had no real evidence or any pictures or any documents or any documentation of this UFO. And so who really knows the truth behind that one either?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I can confirm that because he saw a news lettering about it, but I have read, and there was actually more than one UFO sighting, especially around Ventum Hill. So that's interesting if you believe in aliens. Your questions are all answered now.
Another story that could be brought up is like maybe they had some secret underline that no one knows about that connects them to these alien creatures, or I don't know. It's so odd, but apparently there's a lot of UFO sightings. There's a lot of UFO sightings, supposed UFO sightings everywhere. So that's just putting that out there that this could just been just some random, not even a UFO. I don't know what it could have been, but You just don't know.
Nope. It's safe to assume that no one will ever actually know what happened to the men.
At this point, it's way too far in the future now.
One theory that I actually enjoy is researchers theorize that the men were illegally selling radioactive materials to unknown buyers from the Brazilian criminal underground. According to the theory, the men were killed by the underground Brazilian gangs or whatever, and then they were transferred to the hill to confuse police. I mean, that's a. I mean, at this point, really, with
Or
anything to
maybe
answer.
That secret whatever society gang. Do you say gang members? Maybe.
Well, the underground, which is over in Brazil, I mean, that's what they call it instead of gangs. Over in like America, it's gangs, but underground over there, that's what they call it.
So maybe what if they were given these drugs? Maybe this was
Forced.
forcibly
drugs.
given the drugs, and this note was written to look like a what would you call that?
Just crazy ramblings, honestly.
Maybe to
Just
give
to
them an
confuse the
alibi
police.
almost.
I mean, yeah, great alibi. Because we know they lied to their families. I mean, obviously they weren't doing what they told they were going to do.
Yeah, obviously they weren't there. They might have been there to buy a car, but maybe nothing for work.
Nothing for work, no. I mean, I didn't find any electronics, or not me, but I didn't find any clippings about electronics being on their
Well,
person.
A note on the car is maybe we don't know how tall this hill is. I didn't really do any geographical research about this hill, but maybe they were there to buy the car to get to the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems kind of far stretched because why would you spend that much money just to buy a car when you could could you rent back in the 60s? I don't know about that. I doubt it.
No, I don't think you could rent back in
And
the
you probably couldn't
60s.
take a bus up to the top of the hill.
Probably not. They probably walked, honestly. I didn't do any geographical research on it either.
This one really isn't a theory. It has a kind of like a backtrack maybe to what happened and connections to their lives. Ogre Zero, I don't know if I pronounce it, but Ogre Zero, a magazine located in Rio, had a reporter claim that Manuel and Miguel, along with a friend of theirs, built this device 2 months to be exact, before their deaths. And it actually exploded in, I believe, Miguel's yard, garden, whatever, something like that. Which leads me to the thought that they were actually apparently interested in trying to contact Mars and these outer unknown beings from not from Earth. They were trying to connect spiritually with these other creatures or whatever. And the explosion that I was talking about may have been a device that failed. It was maybe something they tried to build to contact with these unknown people or unknown beings. So that's a thought as well.
We're not conspiracy theorists by any means. I mean, it's very interesting to talk about, but one theory put by a conspiracy theorist, it said they ventured to this secluded location on the hill. They were told to protect themselves with the masks and the capsules. We don't know. Like I said, no. Like we both said, no toxicology report was taken. So they were taking the cap, maybe their insides or whatever. This is just a theory. I don't believe this, but it's a possible theory. Maybe someone out there does believe it. And as the UFO was landing to pick them up or give them something, maybe they were time travelers. Who knows? That's just one of the possible theories from a conspiracy theorist out there. Probably
Just
decades.
something to touch on their drug usage. Apparently they were a part of this group called the Scientific Spiritualists. Okay, so something about their group that kind of connects to it maybe a little bit. A newspaper called Folha de Sao Paulo. I'm not really good at pronouncing these Spanish or Brazilian names. They had published a statement from a local yoga instructor that said the
yoga in the 1960s.
Okay, but a local yoga instructor that said the local spiritualist community around that area they were in and where they were from often took psychedelic drugs. And he also believes that these deaths were an accidental overdose, maybe from this type of drug usage. Okay, so a little bit more specific about their mask. Authorities actually in Miguel's workshop found tools and scraps that were things that were believed to have made their specific mask that they made, their like sunglass kind of mask. And also in that same workshop, they found a book that actually highlighted intense luminosity a lot, which would connect to why they had these masks, because they were maybe expecting very bright lights or something along the lines of that. Yeah, they seemed to be whatever drugs they were on led them to believe that there was going to be these bright lights. Maybe these beings they were trying to connect to had maybe told them something about bright lights. I don't know. But yeah, that seems to be a little bit of an explanation about these masks that they were wearing. Okay, and pretty much our last theory before we get into what we actually think and what we believe happened, I do want to touch that there was a report that says that another electronics technician was actually found dead on a different hill 4 years prior with this similar kind of lead mask, which, if that's the case, then maybe maybe some ties with this local community of technicians. Maybe there's something that they like. I don't know. There seems to be something, if that's actually true. There's some kind of connection between these two cases. So I don't really know too much about that one, but I thought that one was pretty interesting.
Gets the viewers thinking.
Just something actually just think about. It's pretty interesting.
I want to jump in my concluding theory, my most plausible theory. I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious. I mean, they were probably involved in some spiritual cult, not necessarily evil. I mean, we're talking 1960s, so hallucinogens, I mean, huge, acid, LSD, I mean, all this stuff. It was huge in the 1960s. I mean, it was at its peak, so some cult could have gotten started by somebody in Brazil, saying, look, take these hallucinogens, you'll see aliens, blah, 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 spiritual beings. They can talk to you and show you the path you need to go down, whatever. And, I mean, my theory is that they just somehow, got involved with someone, joined this cult, and they said, look, check it out. Take these capsules, which was some sort of hallucinogen. There's no toxicology report, so we don't know what, but possibly they gave them. Take these capsules at this time, travel up this hill, drink, the water with it, travel up this hill, and then you'll have you'll see the spiritual beings will speak to you and whatever, and you'll have, this trip of a lifetime probably, but, possibly they just took too much and overdosed, together, dying on that hill in that rain. Sad.
Bros going out.
Just two bros.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. Having the trip of a life. But that's my plausible theory. That's the most plausible theory in my opinion. I mean, even if you believe in spiritual beings or aliens or, whatever, it makes the most sense. I mean, if you want to go ahead and take the evidence, because there is no evidence if there was aliens there. I mean, they didn't have radiation poisoning. Now, there wasn't a toxicology report, but I mean,
we don't know what was in their bodies.
We don't
what happened
know.
to their bodies.
But I would assume that if, they need to protect their eyes from radiation, then they would probably have some sort of skin burns that would be pretty evident to see. And just going off the report, there really wasn't any. So you have to ask yourself, I mean, they were probably just a part of some dinky little cult that took drugs in the 60s. And
maybe some creepy yoga guy, like I mentioned.
Yeah, some guy
has some
creepy
underlying.
Yoga guy, yeah. I mean,
who knows?
Who knows?
But like we've been talking about, there's no real conclusion to this case, so that obviously leaves much speculation. And what I think the most likely possibility, like Clay was saying, they were involved with these psychedelic drugs, and they were using these. They were trying to use these drugs to connect with these out of
Spiritual
this.
beings.
These things that were just out
Whatever.
of this world, and we don't really know what they were trying to connect with, if they were trying to connect with anything at all. But they were definitely. I feel like they were involved in some kind of crazy drug usage.
Mhm.
That seems to be, like he said, the most plausible thing that happened here.
Just, dumb drug use. So don't do drugs, kids. Ever.
And like I was talking about with the mask, they may have some connection to the book that was talking about intense luminosity that was found in Miguel's workshop. And maybe on this hill they were on a specific hill to have this spiritual connection through these quoted capsules from that notebook. And like I said, they would use these masks because they were expecting intense lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true because that was found in his own book in his workshop about this intense lighting. They had masks.
They were
Capsules.
prepared for something, regardless if it happened or not.
Yeah. They were there, like we said, for a reason. They were on a specific hill at a specific time, doing this specific thing for some odd reason. We don't know why.
But now, our viewers respond to us, comment to us. Let us know, what do you think happened? Because we would love to read some comments. Maybe, maybe do a following episode talking about your comments, just discussing it with each other later on down the road. But, you guys give us, throw us a bone and tell us what you guys think, because that would be really cool to see in the comment section.
Yeah, like he was saying, just put some feedback down below. And if you did enjoy this, if you're a viewer on YouTube, make sure to drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you're on SoundCloud, make sure to drop a heart. That's really all you can do on SoundCloud. If we're able to figure this all out and get it up to where we want to, we do want to get on Apple and Spotify. If you enjoyed this, just show some love. Make sure to let us know that this is something you enjoy.
This is our first time collaborating together. Hayden is a content provider. He does do content on sports and stuff at his YouTube channel, Hayden YT. I'm going to go ahead and plug that a little bit, And I play music and I record and stuff, so I'm pretty familiar with this stuff. So we're going to struggle a little bit. We're going to trip and fall.
It's definitely, we're going to have to work our kinks out.
Yep, but we need you guys here to support us, help us go along, because we want to get the best, the greatest content for you guys.
Yeah, every episode we're going to try to give our best quality and try to improve from each episode. That's the goal. Yeah, we're planning to have these interesting topics and continue on and just make good content for the viewers out there. With that said,
that's the weekly dive for this weekend. We will be back hopefully next weekend.
If everything works out.
Everything works out. We're going to try to be, pretty steady with our schedule, but I know Hayden's got a pretty busy schedule the season for sports right now, and I work a steady job, so just kind of really just depends. But I think we'll be fine. I think we'll get the videos out to you guys. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe on whatever you're listening to this on, and
that's
goodbye.
been Hayden,
and this from Clay,
and it's the weekly dive, like you already said. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Have a
next
good
weekend.
night, or evening, day, whatever
Or
it is.
Day, whatever.
Yeah, peace out, everybody.
Goodbye, guys.